Hello, this is a demo on how to access the API and use our API to request data, and also how to gain access to the API keys. So first of all, I'm gonna hop over here. These keys are obsolete now, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete them. All right, so first of all, what you need to do is you'll want to go to your workspace and find the member who needs access. So for example, in my case, and you need to be a workspace admin to be able to do this. In my case, this is Joel Toethny, and I'm going to go ahead and edit this member, and you want to make sure they have the developer role. You can't access the API unless you have the developer role. Once you've given your member the developer role, you want to go over to settings on the workspace level and go to API keys, and you want to create a new API key and give it some meaningful name, hello world. And you have two options here. You can allow this member to have access to all the data in the entire workspace, or you can allow this member to access only the data that they have access to based on their team permissions. So this member might be on a certain team structure, and you only want them to be able to request specific data within the workspace that they currently have access to through the dashboards. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and turn all on. Now, this key, still nobody can use this key yet. You need to add the members who are developers to this key to be able to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and find, these are only the developers in the workspace. So I'm going to choose Joel, which is the one that I just looked at. So there I am. I have access to this key now. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this key and hop over to Postman. And in the headers, you're going to have several keys here. Oh, that didn't save. That's funny. So this is the workspace key. And I'm going to delete these keys after this demo, so you won't be able to use any of the stuff I'm putting here. You want to paste that workspace key that begins with a WP. Now you'll want to go back to Gap and go get a, go to your manage account, and then go to personal access tokens, and you'll want to create your own personal access token. And then you can also set an expiry date if that's necessary. You'll only get to see this one time. So once this dialog closes, you'll never get to see this again. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this key, go back over to Postman, and this is under PA. So these are headers again. You do WP for the workspace key, then PA for the personal access token. I'm gonna replace that. You'll also need to set your user email under UE. And you'll put your user email that's associated with this personal access token. The last header that you need is the C or X CSRF. This tells our API. You just need to have it. We'll just say that. Don't need to go into details there. The next thing you can do is you go over to parameters, and you have several parameters you can set. So this is a paginated service. The maximum amount is 2,000 records. So if you are requesting more than 2,000 records, you'll need to paginate the response in order to get more data. These can actually be deleted here. The other two properties you can add is start date and end date. These are both optional. If you set these, then we're going to respect the dates that you set. If you don't set them, we're just going to give you all the data. So here, I'm going to go ahead and send this request through. And you also want to make sure that this is the gap.app/oikos/export, and then / the workspace ID. You can obtain the workspace ID, and this is temporary. This will eventually go away, but for now, you can obtain the workspace ID by going to your workspace here. Once you're on your workspace, in the URL, you'll see workspace/ID right here, and you'll grab that long token string there and insert it here. Oops. I think I pasted on accident. C9F. Right? And once you've inserted that, I'm going to go ahead and turn these two start and end dates off and hit send. There we have it. I got the first 100 records. And the response is going to give you something like this, a total, which is the total number of records that we have in the database that matched your query parameters here, the page size that you had inserted, the page number that you had inserted, and then the records that were returned, the number of records returned. So if I did the last page, for example, you might not get exactly 100 records, it might be like 10 records. And then data, which is an array of the actual records. Anyways, so that's how you access the API. Let me know if you have any questions.